If you want to be an iconic rally car, there are certain criteria you must fulfill. You must change the world a little bit. You have to help create a legendary human being, Colin McRae, for example. You need a world championship or two under your belt, but you also need to inspire future generations of rally drivers and rally fans. So there you have it. If you're a rally car and you're struggling to find the path to greatness, there it is. Take, for example, the Ford Escort, a true, real-life superhero of a car, because there was one day in history when that car was taking the kids to school, doing the shopping, nicking the bank robbers, winning a World Rally Championship, and rattling around an airfield all at the same time. Now, YouTubers of the world, unite in your fury, because I'm about to state an opinion. For me, since the Escort, there has only been one car which has picked up the mantle of multitasking quite like the Escort did. And it's a car that, as a child and a rally fan of the 90s, I watched with awestruck eyes on the rally stages of Great Britain. It's the Subaru Impreza. When Colin McRae won the World Championship in 1995, I was 11 years old, stood on a freezing cold, stately home RAC rally stage, and since that day, I haven't been to one rally that didn't have a Subaru Impreza on the entry list. You know, ProDrive were famous for building the cars that took Colin McRae, Richard Burns, and then Petter Solberg to World Rally Championship success. But there is a type of Subaru Impreza rally car that is even more well known than the ProDrive one, and that's the Clubman one. Cars built by people like you and me, and like a farmer, Phil Megginson, who built this one.
Clubman is a term used to cover a multitude of sins, and this car is far from basic. It started life as a Spec C STI. It's a properly prepared lightweight shell. It has a limited slip front and rear diff, active centre diff, and uprated turbo. This rally car is running around 300 brake horsepower, and with anti-lag creating that Group A sounding popping and banging, all it needs is a stately home rally stage to properly rekindle the spirit.
But a farm track will do nicely. Every Clubman rally car build story starts with a bloke called Dave in Leeds, doesn't it? Well, this one does anyway. Well, Phil bought the car from a guy called Dave in Leeds who, well, the car was his pride and joy, so Phil didn't tell him what he was going to do with it, and that's also fairly familiar. As will the next part of the story be for anyone else who's built a rally car. Phil got home straight away, booked the car in for a roll cage fitting, and then he got onto eBay and started looking for bits. Oh, but not before he called his local environmental health officer. Really?
In fact, the EHO turned out to be Paul Turner, Phil's very tall co-driver, and together the pair would start their Clubman rally careers in the Motorsport News Circuit Rally Championship at Cadwell Park. And in true Clubman fashion, the safety gear was all hired, the race suit was second-hand, and the pace notes, well, they were learnt from YouTube videos. Of course they were.
Even a standard Impreza STI is a bit of a loon, but this one has that uprated 300 brake horsepower engine. It's torquey, it's got anti-lag, so it sounds amazing. It just feels so chuckable as well. It's got the big brakes, it's got the adjustable pedal box, it's got the active centre diff out of the Spec C car. But remember, crucially, this is a film about Clubman rally cars, and it has some standard bits as well. It's got a standard 6-speed close ratio gearbox, and I'm pretty sure that button's standard as well. And the mirror's pretty standard. And given that the co-driver is an environmental health officer, you can guarantee that everything is in date. Going back then to what you have to do in order to be an iconic rally car, you've got to remember that important thing about inspiring future generations. This, to Subaru Imprezaists, is a blob-eye Impreza, and it's about 14 years older than my eldest son. Consider this, when Woody Jr. was learning to string sentences together, Subaru Impreza was one of the first things he could say. Genuinely, he could spot one a mile off as well. When I heard that the latest edition of the Impreza STI would be the final edition, I felt sick at the type of world that I was bringing my children into. All this from a rally car.
One for Instagram? Iconic.